Hi, I'm Gary Vett. I'm one of the pastors here at Hope Community Church, and I want to talk to you about biblical wisdom for raising sons. Psalm 127:4 says, "Like arrows in the hands of a warrior, so are children of one's youth." Now, I'm not much of an archer, but when I was young, my brother and I would go out to the field and shoot arrows. And one particular day we went to the field and we didn't have a target with us, so we decided to shoot the arrows up into the sky, only to find them landing all around us. Well, it didn't take too long for us to figure out that we needed to run into the woods, see if we could find something from the scrap heap and bring it out that we could sit under after we shot the arrows, and we found a table. So we bring the table out in the field, we shoot it up, and sure enough, a couple times those arrows hit the top of the table, and we were safe at least. But I bring that up because a lot of times as parents, we are shooting up in the air when it comes to raising kids. Or perhaps we might say shooting in the dark. We don't know really what the target is. And because we don't know what the target is, we don't know how to shape our children to hit that target. So that same psalm begins this way: "Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain." In other words, if you and I are trying to raise our sons without the Lord's input, it is going to end up being empty. It'll be something that comes to nothing. And so the question is then, how does the Lord build the house? If we're supposed to partner with Him, how does the Lord build a house? Well, we have a great example of that in Deuteronomy chapter 6, because there the Lord is laying down through Moses what Israel was supposed to be like, how they were supposed to grow up, how He wanted His children to behave. And so I'm going to read some from Deuteronomy chapter 6. I would encourage you to read verses 1 through 9 at home. Just get familiar with them because they're really, really important words. He says this: "Now this is the commandment, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God has commanded me to teach you, that you might do them all the days of your life, so that you and your son and your grandson might fear the Lord your God, to keep all His statutes and His commandments, which I have commanded you today, all the days of your life. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all of your might. These words which I commanded you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your sons, and shall talk of them when you lie down, and when you rise up, when you sit, and when you walk by the way. You shall bind them as sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontals on your forehead. You shall write them on the doorposts of your home and on your gates." So what is the Lord saying? The Lord is saying, here's the target. The target is that you might know me, trust me, love me, and obey me. That's what He wanted for the people of Israel. So now we know what the Lord wants for us in our own homes. So if we're going to build our home with the Lord, that means we need to raise our boys so that they know God, that they trust God, that they love Him, and that they obey Him. In order for that to happen, the target can't be something that's just way out there, but something that we experience. We are aiming for the same target. We are knowing God better. We are learning to trust Him and to love Him. And that love means that relational connection, not just an intellectual assent that I know facts about God, but I actually have a connection with my Heavenly Father. That leads me then to obey Him. And that's really how we go after preparing our boys to hit their intended target. We want them to know, trust, love, and obey Jesus. Remember, children are like an arrow for us. An arrow, a warrior in the Old Testament had to take an arrow, he had to shape it and sharpen it so that it would hit the intended target. We must do that with our boys. We must take the time to teach them God's truth. And not only teach them God's truth, but help them to learn how to obey it practically. So we shape them, we sharpen them, and ultimately we will release them or shoot them at their intended target. And as they leave our homes, if we have done a good job of pointing them in the right direction, at the right target, they will be dependent upon the Lord and His Word. They'll be dependent upon us in terms of our wisdom, but they will also live an independent life. So that means They won't be totally independent, which is the word interdependent. We want to raise boys that are interdependent. They are dependent upon the Lord, upon us, upon other biblical wisdom and wise counsel, but also learning to do it for themselves out in the real world. And so that's what it means to have biblical wisdom in raising your boys, helping them reach their intended target of knowing, trusting, loving, and obeying Jesus.